So today you are going to learn how to solve systems of nonlinear equations by graphing. Last class we did the top part of this, which was solving systems of linear equations. 2 classes ago we did that. And today we're going to talk about nonlinear systems. So I'm going to give you an example. X squared plus y squared equals 3. That's actually the equation of a circle. And y equals 3 minus 2x. And the first step to solving these by graphing is just like linear. You need to get both equations into y equals form. So I already have one of them saying y equals. I need to get the other one to say y equals. So I'm just going to write it over again down here. And now I'm going to get y by itself. So I'm going to subtract x squared from both sides. So that gives me y squared equals 3 minus x squared. And then I'm going to take the square root of both sides. That gives me y equals the square root of 3 minus x squared. And don't forget, whenever you take a square root, you need to include a plus or minus. If you only do the positive square root, you're only going to see half the circle. So at this point you have two options. You can use the TI-83 or you can use the TI-Nspire. I'm going to go through the 83 first, and then I'll go through it on the Nspire. So you're going to go to y equals. You're going to clear whatever may be in there, and you're going to put in the two equations. And this equation here is easy. We'll put this into y1. It's 3 minus 2x. So I go 3 minus 2x. 3 minus 2x. And then I have to put in the other two equations. And these are actually two different equations. One is going to have a positive square root, and the other one's going to have a negative square root. So I have to do the square root of 3 minus x squared. And then I have to repeat that, but I have to put a negative in the front. Negative square root of 3 minus x squared. Oops, I didn't do squared. X squared. Alright, so once I've done that, I can hit graph. So there's the line, and there is half the circle and the other half of the circle. And it doesn't really look like a circle. That's because the way that the calculator is zoomed right now, each axis is showing negative 10 to 10. But because it's not a square window, if I want to make it actually look like a circle, I have to choose zoom 5, which is z square. But you don't have to do that. It's just if you want to. If I do that, then it looks like a circle. So now I want to find where the lines cross, which is the same step that we had before, find the point of intersection. So I'm going to go second calc, and I'm going to go to option 5 for intersect, and it's asking me my first curve. And so I can say, yes, I want the line as my first curve. For the second curve, I want the top half of the circle. And I'm going to move my cursor to about where they cross. That's my guess. And it tells me that the point of intersection is 0.7, so I can write that down, 0.710, comma, 1.58. But they also cross again, and they cross again down here on the lower half of the circle. So I'm going to repeat the process. I'm going to go second calc, intersect, and it's asking me for my first curve. And now notice there's a little 1 in the corner, or a 2, or a 3. This time I want to compare the line to the bottom half of the circle, which means I want to compare equation 1, so I'll hit enter. For my second curve, I don't want equation 2, I want equation 3, because that's the bottom half of the circle. So I'll hit enter on 3. And then I need to move my cursor near the point of intersection for my guess. Bad guess. Oh, so I have to do it again. Second calc, intersect, First curve is curve 1. Second curve is not curve 2, it's curve 3. And now I need to move my cursor so that I have an x and a y value when I go to do my guess. And it'll give me the point of intersection there, which I can write down 1.69, comma, negative 3.8, negative 0.38. Then the last thing that I can do is I can sketch what this graph looks like. I know that the line has a y-intercept of 3 and a slope of negative 2. So I can draw that line pretty easily. And the circle has a radius, it's between 1 and 2, so something along the lines of this. Here, let me draw that line in. You can use a ruler, of course. And then I draw in the circle like this. And do the best you can here. And that's my sketch of the graph. And those are my two intersection points there and there at 0.7, 1.5. That's here. And at 1.69, negative 0.38. Now, some of you may prefer to use the Inspire, so I'd like to show you how to do that on the Inspire as well. First, you're going to turn the calculator on. When you get to the home screen, create a new document, and do not save the old document. And then you're going to add graphs. Alright, so for f1 of x, we're going to put in our linear equation, 3 minus 2x. The x is down here. You're just going to choose the letter x from there, and then hit enter. Beautiful. Then to get the input bar to come back up again, you're going to hit Control G. And then we're going to put in our second equation. Again, we have to put it in two pieces. So I'm going to do the square root, which is right here, of 3 minus x squared. And then I'll hit enter. And to get the bottom half of the circle, I have to do the negative square root. Oh wait, I have to Control G to get the input bar to come back. Then the negative square root of 3 minus x squared. And hit enter, and now you'll be able to see the bottom of the circle. So with the Inspire, everything shows up nice and square. And now we are going to hit menu to see the options that we can do. And we're going to choose option 6, which is Analyze Graph. You can scroll down to it, or you can just hit 6. And then we would look for the point of intersection, which is option 4. Then it asks me which graph do I want to intersect. And I can clearly see the red graph intersects the blue graph. And you can see it's thinking here. So for my second graph, I want the blue graph. And you see the questions that it's asking me down in the corner here. And then it asks me for a lower bound. So I have to move my cursor to the left of where I see the lines crossing and hit enter. Then I have to move my cursor to the right of where I see the lines crossing and hit enter. And it identifies the point of intersection, and it spits that out for me right here. If you see that things are getting on top of each other, getting crowded, you can hover the little hand over the thing you want until it grabs it, and then you can drag it out of the way. So that's how I get intersection point 1. I can repeat this process to get the other one. I go to Menu, Analyze Graph. I choose option 4 for intersection. And now I have to choose which things I want to intersect again. So I hover over the bottom half of the circle and the line, and then I move to the left of the point, and then I move to the right of the point. and that gives me the second point of intersection you can see right here. So I got the same 2 points of intersection using the Inspire that I got using the TI-83. I don't care which one you use, whichever one works best for you. Go ahead and give that a shot on some practice.